Hello, welcome back to The Reading Mama. My name is Heather, and today I have some middle grade historical fiction for you. If you're participating in middle grade March, this will be perfect for the historical fiction prompt, along with a couple other of the prompts on some of these books. But middle grade historical fiction is like my cream and butter. We read it a lot in our family and part of our homeschool. Talk more about that over my homeschool channel, which is linked at the top of my page if you're interested. But I will drop down all the details about middle grade March down below, and I'm going to go through these books as quickly as possible because I value your time. So first up is In Freedom's Cause by G.A. Henty. G.A. Henty in general, we really enjoy his books. This is going to be upper middle grade, going into YA just because of the length of it. It kind of, my oldest read these at 10, 11, 12, but some kids, you may just by the sheer length of it, maybe a little bit higher. But In Freedom's Cause is my absolute favorite G.A. Henty that I've read so far, and it follows the story of William Wallace and Sir Robert the Bruce in Scotland in the 13th century. I highly recommend it. Very beautiful, very makes the story come alive. Next up is Joseph Bruchac. Now, again, I would recommend Joseph Bruchac. I've not picked up a book I haven't liked by him. This is following the Five Nations and the Iroquois during pre-colonial time periods, kind of getting that Hiawatha story going on. And so I highly recommend this. It's great middle grade. He has several that are middle grade and some that are YA. This one is just the one I picked off the shelf. I really could have picked any of them, but I love this story. Again, makes the story come alive and really enjoyable. And it is he is an Indigenous author, so you could use that if you're doing middle grade March for the BIPOC option. Next up is another that I really enjoy, and that is Laurie Halse Anderson. Now, I don't like some of her contemporary works. I don't love her hands down, but her historical fiction I have enjoyed, including her Seeds of America series, but I love the Fever 1793, I think, better. This follows during America colonial time period during the yellow fever epidemic, and you follow a young girl and her father, and you get a couple of historical fiction figures in there. And I can't think of his name, the famous doctor. Benjamin Rush. Well, that can't be right. I don't know. Anyways, very good, fun story. All of my kids have loved it. I did pick this up from the library, which is another Laurie Halse Anderson, and I haven't read it yet, called Rebellion 1776. And just because her other ones have been so good, I am excited to read this one. So yeah, that's going on there. Going on through the time period, I have Free Water. I got this at a library for a free prize. It is by Amina Lukman Dawson. I haven't read any other books by her. This is a Newbery Award winner, and it is phenomenal. You follow some young kids who escape from a plantation into the swamp, and they find an entire group of people who are living there, and you follow their story. Very good, very intense, but very good. Again, this is a thicker book, so maybe upper middle grade, and because it's kind of intense, maybe you might want to save it. But I had my middle schoolers read this 6th grade, and I enjoyed it. Next up is Heart of Samurai by Margie Pruis. And this is another Newbery Honor book. And I really love this. This takes place in 1841. So you are following 14-year-old Manjiro, who is from Japan, and him and his friends get separated from the island. They don't trust foreigners at this time. Anyways, he becomes a whaler and eventually, starts traveling to different places. It's a very intense, fun story, but maybe not fun. Okay, it's a very intense story, and it was very enjoyable as you follow Manjiro and his story as he travels and the things that he experiences as somebody who has never been. He's been cut off from anybody who is not Japanese for his entire life, and his experience of that as a new person. All right, continuing in history, I have Luminous Life of Lucy Landry by Anna Rose Johnson. And again, Anna Rose Johnson is a BIPOC author, and many of her stories have Ojibwa people. Absolutely love. Very sweet, very innocent. You could read this young middle grade. I'm reading it aloud to my kids. We're very close to finishing it. It is so beautiful. There are touches of Christian elements in it, but it is not overbearing or anything like that, just a touch, okay? And it's very sweet, beautiful. You follow a young girl who has a very Anne of Green Gables kind of mentality, or Sarah Crew from A Little Princess. She's very imaginative. She imagined these other kind of personas for herself to help kind of deal with some of her struggles as being an orphan. She is orphan, and then she has the person who was caring for her passes away, and so she has to go and live with this other family. It's a big family. She's never been around these many kids. It's on an island where they run the lighthouse. She's afraid of boats and things because her father died in the Great Lakes. All of her other book also takes place around the Great Lakes, and so there's a lot of big concepts. I was crying throughout this last chapter that I read to my kids today, but I love this. And I also read her other book, which I think is like the Always Star, the Star That Always Stays. And that was phenomenal also. And so you can get a BIPOC author, but also short, sweet, innocent, very, very good for sensitive readers. Next up, probably less good for sensitive readers, is The Silver Sword. I believe it has another name also, publication-wise, but it's by Ian Serralier. That's what I'm going to call it. And in this book, we follow a family of children during World War II, and they are escaping from Warsaw, I believe. Yes, they're escaping from Warsaw. And it's very intense, but it is a great story. It's a good read aloud as you go with them as they travel through Europe on that. Keep going. I have Lauren Woke, and I've, again, read all the books that I love about her, and this is a, Scott Odell Award. So Lauren Woke, Scott Odell Award, aren't those? For historical fiction. Okay, anyway, sorry, going off there. But I've read this, and I've also read another one of her books. Is it Wolf Hollow? Yes, I think I read Wolf Hollow. And it is set kind of early 1900s. I don't know specifically. I feel like it was set very much in like a depression, not pre-World War II. Maybe it was just after World War II. I don't know. That's beside the point. You're on a island coast. Yeah, island. So they live in Elizabeth Islands off of Massachusetts. Sorry, I had to double check. And we have a child who has been orphaned. She showed up on the sea, and a man has been taking care of her. And then there's a mystery surrounding a nearby island that used to be a leper colony, like a leper hospital for leprosy. And there's a whole mystery going on with that. There's a lot of other concepts going on with her as she processes different things from her life and trying to figure out who she is, what's come on, what's going on with are the people who care for her, and what happened to her family. And so I've really enjoyed that. And then we're just going to keep getting more intense. The Night Diary, I would say this is bordering on YA just because of the intensity of it. The Night Diary follows the India and Pakistan separation in 1947. And you follow a family who the father was Hindu and the mother's Muslim, and they are choosing, if I remember right, they are choosing because they were living in what was going to be Pakistan, and they're moving to India. And it tells about her journey, which is just harrowing, just absolutely harrowing. There was one point that I felt like, if you were a sensitive reader, there's a train thing that's a little more violent. Because they're walking from Pakistan to India, what we would call Pakistan to India. And it is just, there's a lot of hardship, there's a lot of harshness, family ties and things come up. This is a Newbery Honor book as well. So I absolutely love it. This would also count as a BIPOC author. It follows her story as she learns to deal with her life with her family, how she learns to communicate and interact with them, how she deals with loss of her mother and of her homeland and of all these different things. It had me crying. It is a very beautiful story, but it is a little more intense. So that is my historical fiction recommendations. I hope that gives you a little help. If you have a question about any of them, let me know below. I have read all of these books. It's just been a while, so some of them I might have to look up if you have a specific question. A lot of them, I love the authors hands down, so check those out. If you have a historical fiction that you absolutely love, especially if it's one that's maybe less popular, drop it below. I love historical fiction selections, especially for the middle grade ages. And thank you so much for watching. Have a blessed day.